The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by my tag team partner, the boy.
Hi.
And it is a new day.
Oh, yes, it is.
Before we get started, I still got that Patreon. Links in the description. I'm just going to plug that for a little while. I would really appreciate your donations. They help me do cool shit more often. You know the cool shit I do now? I could do more of it. But anyway. So, today we are talking about Wrestlemania.
The surprisingly good Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
Spoilers for our spoiler-free review.
If you missed it, you missed it. This is wrestling. It's not like the movies.
Well, no, there's a network.
I guess.
But it was a surprisingly good show. I was really expecting it to be like the worst WrestleMania in 6 or 7 years.
They'd have to.
Yeah.
That's shitting uphill, man.
That's what I was expecting to happen. I was beautifully proven incorrect. I quite enjoyed myself for the majority of the show.
Yeah, same.
The internet didn't, and that makes it even better.
Yeah, whatever, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing to really stand on here. I will say before we get started that 2 nights prior we watched NXT Revolution, or NXT TakeOver, whatever the fuck they call it.
NXT TakeOver of, Texas or whatever.
Dallas.
NXT's big supercard pay-per-view equivalent before WrestleMania. And holy shit, was it 10 times better than WrestleMania.
Oh my god, it was fucking phenomenal.
WrestleMania was a surprisingly good show. Very enjoyable. Not a great show. NXT TakeOver was a fucking great wrestling program. Amazing card, amazing matches. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And the crowd for both shows was great. But the exception of one match regarding the boy, the crowd for both shows was great. Anyway, so if you didn't catch that because you only watch the big shows, I'd say go check it out.
That's what I've been doing all day at my day job, is people are like, yeah, I like WrestleMania. I was like, you should watch TakeOver. It's way better.
Oh, yeah, it's just phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. But anyway, WrestleMania, the reason we're here, the show that is good. First match of the night, Intercontinental Championship, ladder match between Sin Cara. I probably should have written down who was in these matches.
I'm going to get the card.
Sin Cara, Stardust, God, my brain's doing that thing it does with Game of Thrones cast. Hold on, this will be fun. Sin Cara, Stardust, Ska Man, Kevin Steen,
Ska Man,
Dolph Ziggler, another guy.
Oh.
Zack Ryder.
Miz.
Yeah, that's who the other guy was.
Hold on. I'm just gonna get the fucking card.
No, it was a 6-man. I think I got them all.
The pre-show had Kalisto versus Ryback on it. We didn't see that.
Kalisto kept his title. Good.
And then Team Total Divas versus Team Bad. Didn't see that either. Pretty happy about not seeing it, to be honest.
Team Bad. Who's in Team Bad? Is that just self-descriptive?
Bad and Blonde, excuse me. Lana, Naomi, Tamina, Emma, and Summer Rae. So mostly, yeah.
That's about half and half.
Bad and Blonde.
Fair. I know Tamina's good.
Yeah, I suppose it's actually the blonde half that's bad.
Summer Rae that's kind of shitty, that's it.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's the fucking ladder match. Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, that's Ska Man, for those of you playing the home game. Sin Cara, Stardust, and The Miz.
I wish his name was Ska Man.
No, you don't. That's dumb. But, yeah. This was fine. This was a good ladder match. Good way to start the show. A lot of high energy spots.
It was a spot fest.
It was spots. It wasn't really a wrestling match as much as it was many spots.
Like Kevin Steen and Ska Man pretended for a while. They threw some punches and elbows and shit. Nothing compared to fucking Shinsuke Nakamura and Ska Man. This is just replaced his name in my head. I swear I'll get it out of there eventually. But like my brain only just wants to say El Generico. I keep forgetting Sami Zayn.
Just call him El Generico. At least people know who the fuck you're talking about.
No, they'll know who I'm talking about. Ska Man too. Out of all of the wrestlers ever, how many could be described as Ska Man?
Probably not many, all things considered. The one has ska for his music.
And he skanks down to the ring, and he wears a little flat hat. And
he skanked in reverse.
He's got fucking checkers all over all his shit. He's Ska Man.
He skanked in reverse away from things when scared.
He does. That was spectacular on NXT. But, yeah, other than some spots between him and Kevin Owens, it was whatever. It was just a spot fest.
Fun spot fest, though.
Yeah, I had fun with it. I liked watching it. I liked Stardust String Gear, even though I don't like his new sleeveless option. And I missed the Mr. Sinister cape. The Dusty spots were nice. And the Dusty spotted ladder was also nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sin Cara didn't blow anything too badly.
No, he didn't blow a spot. Like, I watched.
There were a couple that were not great, but he didn't blow anything. So...
Sin Cara managed not to... Well, this is Sin Cara 2. He does botch less than Sin Cara 1.
Yeah, man, I don't know what happened to Mystico the original, but...
Mystico the original isn't good at wrestling in America?
Stop trying, I guess. I don't know.
He's just not... America is not his speed. Mexican wrestling and American wrestling are different, and that's not a little.
WWE wrestling is different. And
you know what it probably was? It was probably the WWE matches were so slow, he fucked up his rhythm.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the man. Winner of the match was Zack Ryder.
Yeah, surprising win from Zack Ryder.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I don't hate it at all. Zack Ryder's fun. I guess he's finally out of Vince's doghouse. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would have been okay with anybody but The Miz winning that. Sin Cara, I would have questioned.
Like, how, like, wise a choice it would be.
Well,
I mean, but then you're doing a thing like the Lucha Dragons have two singles.
Sure, I could see that. I think it's kind of a waste of your belts. But, I mean, you could do some interesting things where, like, they fight two other singles wrestlers who, like, somehow get the tag titles, and that could be interesting.
And they could, like, trade them back and forth.
Yeah, there could be some stuff in there, but I question tying up that many belts.
But thankfully they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. I don't know. I mean, like...
it was a fun match. It was not much more to say about it.
No.
The internet hated it. They thought it was dumb. The internet also hates that Zack Ryder won, because turns out they hate Zack Ryder now.
I don't. I looked at what would be the screen and shrugged. You can't see that, listener.
I guess it's Zack Ryder's not a 10-year veteran of independent feds and TNA and Ring of Honor, so of course he is the devil and deserves to die. This is going to be a running theme for this pay-per-view. I'm just going to...
and the funny thing is...
roll it back and let you know.
I'm so much more relaxed on that now, but as I will mention, no doubt, in our next match, I was so pissed about that sort of shit back in the day, it drove me nuts. But I'm the guy who can't talk, because, like, all of my favorite wrestlers are neither the big main event dudes that everybody loves, nor are they the 10-year indie darlings. So, whatever. So yeah, our next contest. Oh yeah, Zack Ryder's dad came into the ring, and I thought it was Drew Carey. I thought that was worth mentioning.
Happy Snyder's pretty great.
Yeah.
Happy Ryder, excuse me.
Or yeah, no, Zack Ryder. Yeah, no, Zack Snyder's dad did come into the ring.
Zack Snyder's dad.
He'd shake his head in disappointment.
Harsh.
Man of steel, more like mana, maybe fiberglass.
Your character for Zack Snyder's dad is weird.
My character, Zack Snyder's dad, I'm pretty sure is All-Star Batman.
That would explain a lot, actually.
Jericho versus AJ Styles. Boy, I'm gonna let you lead this one off here, because
going into this match, as I've mentioned before, I'd never seen AJ Styles. I knew he was like Jesus to the section of the internet whose suffering I've begun to just revel in. But he was Jesus to these people. They loved him. They could never stop crowing about him. He was always the best thing in wrestling. And why couldn't they get AJ Styles? Fuck John Cena. Blah, 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 blah. My opinion is objectively the best opinion. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that point of view. It's how I live my life. But you're wrong. But I had no reason to hate him because it didn't rub me the wrong way because I'd never seen the guy one way or another. For all I know, he was really good. So going into this match, I'd seen some stuff in the Rumble, and I believe our podcast for that kind of reflects. I didn't get why people were so into it, but I didn't hate it.
Well, in the interim, you've heard his voice.
Yeah, I have.
That killed a lot of the.
I can't. I'm sorry. The next big thing. The best thing since sliced bread. The phenomenal one is never, nor shall it ever be, Jamie Noble's more try-hard cousin. You can't be a main eventer with that accent. I come from a place where that accent comes from. That accent's fucking ridiculous. If you can't curb it, I don't buy you. I don't buy you. Not in 2016. This isn't the 70s. We're not in Memphis.
I'd buy it if he had a little bit more of a hayseed gimmick, like, at all.
Yeah, like, if he wasn't...
And, like, 5%.
Like, if he was just, a visibly good old country boy. He doesn't need to be the fucking... Oh, God, what was that tag team? Murdoch and somebody from a few years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Cajun Murdoch? Cade and Murdoch.
It was Lance Cade and...
Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah, Trevor Murdoch had... I'm going to stop myself there.
Yeah. But, like, he doesn't need to be Cade and Murdoch, but he does, like, if you're going to have that accent, you have to own it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Jack Swagger, you got to own that fucking lisp, man.
Or just don't talk. It's working out good for him so far.
Well, not really. He loses a lot.
Yeah, well.
Hey, he's still got a job. Where's my Jack Swagger still employed by WWE counter? But... Like, you gotta own it. And he doesn't. He absolutely anti-owns it. He pretends to be this, suave, worldly guy. No, I'm sorry. You sound like you belong on the back of a turnip truck. And this isn't a southern territory. You don't know. Your gimmick doesn't match who you are. That's what it is. That's entirely what it is.
No, I agree.
It's that his gimmick I just sort of all fill in place.
Just put the pieces together?
Yeah, it's that his gimmick doesn't match his voice. If he had a gimmick that matched his voice, like you mentioned, yeah. I wouldn't care at all.
Even if it was like a little bit. Even if it was like, something Southern pride. Something... I mean, I'm not saying slap a rebel flag on the guy. That's asking for a different kind of problem. But just, like, make it part of his thing. Make a big, picture of Georgia in his entrance video. Fuck it. But he doesn't.
Fucking anything. But anyway. Aside from that, I can't really take him seriously, but I still didn't hate the guy. He kind of seemed in the Rumble, and what I've seen him in up until this point, like, a little bit of a spot monkey. Maybe not as worth the hype as people were saying, but I went into this match with a pretty open mind.
I didn't.
My mind has since been firmly closed. The case has been settled. The verdict has been reached. AJ Styles is fucking awful. Wow, what the fuck are you people talking about? He's terrible. He's god awful. What the fuck?
There was a golden age for about, I'm going to say 3 years, where he actually hit the spots he was trying to hit. And he petered off since then. And I don't understand why people kept carrying his banner after that petered off, especially when they're so critical of guys like Sin Cara. Or, what have you, for blowing fucking spots constantly. And that's all this match was. Chris Jericho trying his damnedest to drag that dumbass's butt across the finish line. He did, at one point, give up.
Yeah, like, visibly. He got this look on his face like, oh my god, you're terrible.
And then after that point, he had given up so hard that AJ Styles was trying to do something on the turnbuckle with Jericho.
Like, no one knew. He was
I have no idea what he was getting at all.
Trying to get him in some way.
His feet weren't going where they needed to be. His arms weren't. Nothing was happening. It was taking too goddamn long. Jericho screams at him, "You stupid idiot," starts hitting him, and then does a different move.
Like straight up jacks him in the face. Jericho started throwing out some spuds at some point during this match.
Yeah.
He was visibly upset by this match.
Disgusted at this performance.
Jericho has to have, at least a few years on AJ Styles, and he was wrestling fucking circles around him. What in the fuck are you people talking about?
And Jericho wasn't even doing that well. It wasn't like it was a phenomenal Jericho match.
No, it was middling Jericho.
Yeah.
And he was wrestling circles around this guy. Dude, what the fuck are you people? I'm genuinely baffled. What are you gabbing on about?
I will give AJ Styles credit where credit is due. He did a springboard 450.
Yeah, that was pretty. Like,
he did it.
Even in the middle of the match, as mad as I was like, holy shit, that was a good spot.
But the rest of this thing was just an exercise in failure. And we were even madder because we were so sure Jericho was going to lose, because that's what Chris Jericho does. He comes in, he shows up.
He puts over younger talent and fucks off.
Unless that younger talent is Bray Wyatt, and he has specific instructions that Bray Wyatt is not allowed anything nice ever.
No, Bray Wyatt won that feud.
Oh, did he finally win it in the end?
Yeah, he won that feud. I think.
But here, actually, Jericho won.
Yep, just won. Clean, just done. We're done with this.
I don't know if that was like an audible.
Off the most ridiculously blown codebreaker that one was Jericho's fault that I've seen in a long time.
Well, it was a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, because like I don't think AJ hit his mark, and Jericho did his best with what he had, which was not much.
Like in that specific instance, like all he had to do was get his knees up, and he didn't. I mean, getting his knees up might have ended up, fucking up the spacing of the spot and broken AJ Styles' nose, but end of the day, I mean...
Following that, we had a really great Zack Ryder promo, not involving Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Zack Ryder's promo was high class, man.
He was talking about Razor Ramon winning the ladder.
That was the best promo I've ever heard from Zack Ryder.
Yeah,
one.
That was good stuff.
And two, that was just generally a really good fucking, they gave him a mic and let him talk, and it was just pretty.
You don't see that shit in the WWE as often as you used to, and that was nice. I liked it a lot. I don't know. Is this the spotlight match on the card?
I would say, of all the matches on the card, I don't know if there's I think the triple threat might be the spotlight match on the card. That's the one I had the most fun with. But this was a damn good one. Now, I am a little biased. I mean, the New Day was in it.
The New Day was in it. It came out of a fucking box of Booty-O's.
A gigantic cereal box of Booty-O's.
Dressed as the fucking Ginyu Force.
I'm so deeply happy about the New Day. Xavier Woods had Super Saiyan hair. It was glorious. They had their unicorn horns. They're turning them face without changing their gimmick, and I fucking love it. They're the best thing going, man.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote little tidbits because I took notes since I knew we were doing this podcast the next day. There were spots in that match which were fun.
That's a good fucking call, honestly. I was so tired. This show was almost 5 hours long.
Yeah, this show, it was too long. We'll get to that.
It was near on 5 hours. I'm not joking.
Really, the only thing I want to point out, because just fucking watch it. Steal it, get the network, whatever. Just fucking watch it.
Fast forward through some of the stuff that
Find it on YouTube.
That's not interesting to you.
But this match was good. It was a lot of fun. If you like the New Day at all, if you like fun in wrestling at all, go watch it. But the one thing I do want to talk about, Xavier Woods at one point does this weird spinny flippy DDT thing to Sheamus, and they made it look realistic. It is so easy for wrestlers to make
those look fucking stupid.
Yeah, make it look like I'm doing this move to myself. And it didn't. It looked like Xavier Woods was wiggling and flipping around Sheamus, and Sheamus was like, I'll get you over here. No, you're over here. And then a DDT happened, instead of Sheamus picking him up, spinning him around, and then dropping himself into a DDT. I just wanted to spotlight both of those guys for making that look good.
And the League of Nations, as much as people bitch about it being a bad gimmick, and I'm not disputing that, it's a bad gimmick.
It's a lame gimmick.
It's a lazy gimmick.
Lazy's the word I was going to go to next, actually.
But those are all quality talents.
Yeah, those guys are selling it. Even Rusev looks like he's having a good time.
They're quality talents, man.
The League of Nations goes over in this, and that's fine because it wasn't for the titles.
Yeah, wasn't for the titles. Still your world-famous 2-time champs, so feel the power, and the New Day still is the titles. Spoilers for Raw, they had a tag match against the League of Nations for the titles. They won.
Oh, good.
Clean as a fucking sheet.
Good.
And then they killed Wade Barrett.
Yes,
the rest of the League of Nations was like, you know what, we're tired of this. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and then they murdered Wade Barrett.
I wondered how they were going to write him off.
And then, another spoiler for Raw, because it's related and because it was interesting. Then, after they murdered Wade Barrett and the New Day left, the Wyatt family came out and killed them all? For no reason.
I think they needed something to do. But after the New Day match, League of Nations is standing in the ring. They're like, we're great. There's not 3 motherfuckers in the history of wrestling who come out here and kick our asses. So they bring out Texas natives, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and Texas native by way of Long Island, Manhattan.
Yeah.
Mick Foley as Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack.
As Charles Manson in a flannel shirt.
God, he's so scary looking.
He's scary looking.
He's a scary old hobo person now.
I never found Mankind or Cactus Jack that off-putting when Mick was younger, but now that he's got some gray in there and he's like got a little thinness to his face where, he lost those teeth and shit, he's kind of got that like scary hobo man thing going on.
That guy will probably fucking knife you.
The other thing, Mick looked like Mick. Stone Cold was Stone Cold, but he has to wear clothes because Stone Cold is made of brittle sticks. Surrounded by man muscle, but still brittle sticks.
Stone Cold was wearing fucking just jeans and shoes and a shirt, and he looked like he was in good shape, but we'll get to that in a second.
And then Shawn Michaels comes dancing out and is fucking he hasn't left the ring.
He, as you said, looks like he was on Raw last week.
Yeah,
dude's in amazing, phenomenal shape.
Oh, and I miss him. I miss HBK. I do. He's definitely one of my favorites of all time. But they came out there and they gave League of Nations a hard time and a run for their money and knocked him out of the ring. And they were...
Now, see, it was 4-on-3, but right before the fight started, the New Day snuck in and yanked Wade Barrett out of the ring.
Yeah. So it was super kicks and stunners and sockos, and it was fun. I'll let you handle the last part.
Then, they do the thing where where they all hit their finishers on everybody. Stone Cold stuns everybody. And then instead of the traditional Stone Cold beer party, the New Day comes in and their music starts playing and they start dancing. They start getting their groove on. All the way to Kofi Kingston showing Shawn Michaels how to twerk, which was hilarious. Mankind was completely down with Big E's "I'ma swivel my penis at you" dance. And then, Xavier Woods was really come on, Stone Cold, let's dance. I'm gonna show you how to twerk. Come on. And then Stone Cold starts doing the fucking Carlton of all things. And, there's this look on his face as he's, doing the Carlton, you about to get your ass kicked. And the whole arena feels it, and then he kicks him, drops him into the stunner, which had to be, one of the highlights of Xavier Woods' career. And nothing against Xavier Woods. He's my people. You can tell. I would be honored. I'm sure he was too. And, then they do the Stone Cold, gets beers and gives beers to the other guys and everyone drinks beers. And it was Broken Skull IPA, his beer, which is hilarious. Yes, I know Stone Cold has a beer. Stone Cold also has a podcast. You should listen to it. It's pretty good.
But not until after you've listened to all the Two Nerds podcasts.
Yeah, clearly us.
And commented, and subscribed.
Of course, yes, all that. But it was fun. It was great. And, side note, boy, Stone Cold can still do a stunner, but them new knees, they're lagging about a half a step behind.
It's not the magic knees like Lieutenant Dan got magic legs. It's just, they're just regular replacement robot knees. Like that episode of The Simpsons where that doctor's like, and here's what your new hip will look like, and then it breaks.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's Stone Cold's knees. But it was fun. It was a good post-match thing. Then they gave us the build for Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, which I must say was a really good build.
If that build was half as good in practice as it was in that fucking video package.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That was a fucking A+ build. That was a good way to build that match. A good psychological sort of thing to go in. A good story to tell. Is Dean Ambrose a bad enough dude to withstand the fire and the fury and the fucking storm that is Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar is essentially a force of nature at this point. He's a natural disaster.
Optional boss.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight him because he's not the champ. You can go fight him. he will probably TPK.
Like, you have to fight the final boss, who's probably who's going into this as Triple H. Triple H is the final boss. He really is. We'll get to that. But, like, yeah, optional side boss, Brock Lesnar. Much harder difficulty. You should probably grind for legendary items first.
Grind up, man. This was a Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar ate a guy.
Dean gave.
Dean gave good,
yeah,
too.
They put him over pretty well, but I mean, it's a Brock Lesnar match.
It's a Brock Lesnar match, and one of these people looks like Dean Ambrose, and the other one looks like Brock Lesnar. Dude, Dean wasn't winning this.
I could have dug about 60 more seconds. I could have dug some more play from that barbed wire bat at the end.
You just saw barbed wire, and then...
I mean, like, yeah. my penis became a drill which could pierce the heavens. And, but I dug it. I love fucking violence and blood and fucking garbage wrestling. Like, that's my roots.
It's a PG show.
Fuck PG.
Indeed.
But I didn't expect him to hit him with it, but I kind of hoped. And I would have liked to see it play more. Like,
he made out with it. That was pretty great.
I mean, that was nice. But, like, in a literary sense...
there was that portion of the match where he tried to kill Brock Lesnar with a chainsaw. Literally kill him with a real chainsaw that still had its chain on it. Yes. I'm not joking.
It still had the chain. It wouldn't start. And I was like, oh! But there's that literary term of Chekhov's gun. Once you introduce something like that, it needs to get used. And it didn't really.
Like, you don't know. I mean, Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar's probably over, but...
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I wasn't mad at it. I just was like, oh, it's over? Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean...
Alright.
It ended how it was always going to end. Brock Lesnar, the warrior god, the final, the optional boss, as it were, the Streak Knight, crushes Dean Ambrose and walks away.
Yeah. It was a good match, though.
Yeah, solid match. They really sold Dean.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked like a top-tier talent. It's just that they're pushing Brock Lesnar as the top-tier talent. He's ridiculous. He's broken. He's a human cheat code.
They had the Hall of Fame recap after that, and they trotted everybody out to wave. And that was nice.
Yep.
I'm sad, but also relieved to hear that Sting is retired.
Yeah, like Seth Rollins had that happened.
It
was bound to happen with somebody. I'm not blaming Seth.
I don't remember what the final thing I heard on that was. I had heard that he might have had some other injuries going into the match. And was like, nah, I'll be fine. And then he was not.
Which is exactly the sort of old lion wrestler thing to do.
It's fucking Sting. But I'm glad he got to make nice with the WWE. I would have liked to see him get a victory.
Yeah, he didn't have a victory in WWE.
No, he did
He came in, lost 2 matches, and retired.
And, like, during his retirement speech, like, Triple H is out there in the audience, and he's got tears in his eyes. Very, very real tears, And...
yeah, because he probably grew up watching
Well,
Sting.
sure. I'm sure it was at least part that, but it also felt like I could have done so many good storylines, me against Sting. There they go. Off into the wind with Daniel fucking Bryan. Like, as a creator, I understand that. Just wasted potential. Gone. But, he's not going to kill himself in the ring. We're not going to have another Owen Hart situation. That's for the best. Always,
in every possible scenario.
I will also say that I love the new Women's Championship.
Yeah! Some people are bitching about it online. Like, there's a lot of people who hate it. Like, a lot. They just don't like that it's just the World Heavyweight Championship again. Fuck you! That's amazing! 1, that's a good belt design. 2, if we want women's wrestling to look legit, what better way than to give them the fucking world title, like the exact same design. It's the same belt, just for women instead of men.
It's got a white strap.
Which I love. I love white straps.
It's got a red plate.
Which is nice and colorful.
Yeah, it's a nice contrast. It's a little smaller also.
It ain't gotta be goddamn pink. Red works.
I like it. It's a bit different.
And it's better than the fucking butterfly, you nitpicking assholes!
Well, and yeah, I mean, I had some conversations with some friends about it, and, like that old chestnut gets brought up. Can't you be girly and also tough? Well, sure. But, like, if you come into that Fed and you're fucking hardcore...
That's all you can do.
Yeah, it's hard to be a badass while you're carrying around the Magic Butterfly Championship. I mean, if you pull it off, you go, wow, you must be the fucking queen shit of Turd Mountain. But
you're still living on Turd Mountain.
You've got an uphill climb, and it's symbolic because.
And I'm sorry, I respect the opinions of those people you were talking to. They are incorrect. That belt was fucking hideous. It was ugly. It's not that it was a butterfly. It wasn't
as bad as Jeff Hardy's belt.
That's true. Almost nothing is. But it's not just that it was a butterfly. It's partially that it was a butterfly. That's ridiculous. But it's also that it was fucking ugly. It was busy. The font was ugly. The butterfly was designed ugly. The belt was fucking ugly.
I don't necessarily agree, but I'm not. It wasn't like I was fond of it. It was okay looking. It wasn't for me. But it's symbolic because as we saw with NXT. With Asuka versus Bayley.
Asuka versus Bayley, by the way, hands down, better match than almost every match on this WrestleMania card.
And as we saw with the triple threat match coming up here, women's wrestling is back to being women's wrestling.
They're not divas. It's women's wrestling.
It's not
you children.
It's not slap fights and
bikini contests
and fucking. Well, I mean, you know what? Have your bikini contest. That's fine.
Actually,
but when it comes to the actual fucking match, when it comes to the actual fucking wrestling match, let it be a wrestling match, and they are. Segue. I didn't mention this last night when we were watching, and I kind of thought this was going to be the case when I saw it. Now, you'll probably disagree with me, and we can get to your disagreements because you're going to be the one who talks about it in the main event anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like these entrances were the WrestleMania entrances of this card.
Yep, I disagree. There was a WrestleMania entrance on this card. Now, these were also good. These were WrestleMania caliber entrances, I would agree.
I mean, Becky Lynch's was not as big.
It was about Roman Reigns' tier.
Sure.
It was a good, big entrance, not WrestleMania class. Charlotte Flair's entrance was WrestleMania class.
Hell yeah.
Sasha Banks' entrance was WrestleMania style. Yeah. Not my favorite thing, but definitely that style.
Sure.
I am a little overfond of it more than I usually would be because of who the musical guest was. But
it was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it was Snoop Dogg.
We don't have to tease it. We're talking about it now.
But, I would say these were definitely WrestleMania class entrances. They weren't the best entrance of the night. Best entrance of the night is in no contest, man. We'll get there.
Well, yeah, because we'll talk about it then. But, yeah, it felt important. This didn't, for the first time in a long fucking time, feel like your piss break match.
Yeah, this was, you should be here. Get in your fucking seat. This is important. I'm a little annoyed at, going straight to the finish, because we can talk about the details of the match. I'm a little annoyed Charlotte won via cheating. Not because it's out of character. It's perfectly in character. She's a heel. Mm-hmm. Her heel manager did a heel thing, and then she won the match. I'm annoyed at it because you're debuting, the new women's title. You're debuting this new thing. It should be a triumphant moment. I think a face probably should have gone over here. Either of them. I prefer Sasha, but either of them.
Assuming that nepotism has nothing to do with the World Wrestling Entertainment, I agree with you. But we live in the real world, where that's just not the case.
And the Flair was always going over in this match?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I had hopes that Sasha Banks was going to win, because I fucking love Sasha Banks. Just period. I mean...
I like all three of these talents.
I do too. And that's what I was about to say. We're in a contest where fucking steampunk Irish redhead and and a Flair that is a girl
and
wrestling.
Also still real good.
Oh my god!
Because there have been other Flairs, they were not as good.
No, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Don't get involved in that shit. Still a touchy subject, Slim. But in a match where those are the competitors. And I still like Sasha Banks the most. I like her a lot. But, yeah, I mean, this was good. And the pacing was good. It did the triple threat tropes, but it
it did them in a very entertaining way.
Yeah, they moved around the order a little bit.
They moved around the order a little. They didn't exactly reinvent the wheel or anything, but it was entertaining. It was well done. And tropes are not bad.
No, yeah.
They exist in triple threat matches for a reason. Also, Becky Lynch took Ric Flair out with a flying crossbody, and that was the best goddamn thing.
Oh no, fucking, was it Charlotte who did the moonsault?
Charlotte did the prettiest moonsault I've seen in years.
Off the top rope to the outside, and the catch was amazing too.
Which is usually the weak point in WWE's big moves. The catch always seems a little sad.
But no, this was really great. I will say this too. This applies to both this pay-per-view and NXT Revolution or Takeover, whatever the fuck it's called. The multiple camera angles they've been using have been a great way to show stuff that might have looked like a blown spot wasn't actually. It just wasn't the move you thought it was. Yeah,
like there was a couple times in NXT Takeover and more times here where I was like, that seemed weird. That looked like and they showed a different angle. No, it was a perfectly good spot, just a different one.
Yeah, like I expected this guy to be kicking him in the head. It was a knee. Oh, I see where it connected.
It was a knee to the chest. I see.
And they did that a couple times in here, and the multiple angles on the moonsault just showed how fucking perfect it was. But this was a really good match. If I cared to watch the weekly show, I would so be into what's going on
here. Yeah, definitely. This is good. This is high quality. Good job.
That moves us into a match we forgot about, which was Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker.
No, I didn't forget about this.
You didn't? I did. I forgot all about it.
This was...
I mean, like, going into it, I didn't, but then as the card was going on, I'm like, and now the main event. Because that's how this works. Divas match, main event.
Divas match, because that's your piss break match. No. It was, that's right.
Well, and because the show was so fucking long. Like
the show was 1 billion years long. It was 4 billion years long. We have
to have Triple H and his fucking... Clay Warriors come out. We have to have Roman Reigns being carried out on a chariot of fire by, like, a literal giant person.
That would be way cooler than his actual entrance.
Fuck. Roman Reigns coming out with a fancy coat would have been cooler than his actual entrance.
No, I liked that thing. We'll get there. I mean, the fancy coat would have made it better. But, The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon. I was so mad about this match. Going in. Because, like... Alright, this is gonna be fun. I genuinely thought Shane was gonna win. And I was so mad at the idea of Shane fucking McMahon beating The Undertaker. That seemed like the worst, stupidest fucking thing, and kind of a slap in the face. Of not just The Undertaker, but a bunch of really quality talents. But then the match happened. And by God, if Shane did not earn his spot in that match.
Well, I mean, first of all, the build-up was probably the best build-up toward a match on this card.
No, I would say that was probably Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose.
Owing how low they had to start on paper, Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. The resounding sound of fuck I heard from the internet when that was booked.
They got to a decent place.
They got to a pretty damn good place. I don't want to say I was psyched to see it because it's Shane fucking McMahon, and I'm kind of tired of The Undertaker. And I don't mean that as in like a, oh, he's so boring. But it's like, so much of the gamble is lost.
When he lost the streak?
Yeah, like... It's like, okay, well, you did your thing. Why are you still out here? Like, this is the Apollo, and they need to be played off stage.
This is the denouement of his career.
Yeah.
And it's going on all along. I can't disagree with that. To be honest with you, like, I was really hoping this would be his last WrestleMania. And that's the thing they did, is Vince said if The Undertaker doesn't win, this is his last WrestleMania. It's his home state. His last WrestleMania really should have been 30. But
here we are.
I was hoping, at this point I always hope it's his last ride, as it were. But, like, not to Shane McMahon though. But by God, by the end of that match, there's a specific point in that match where Shane McMahon bought my ticket. He just handed me a big stack of bills and went, no, I'm good. I can win. it's okay if I win. And I was like, wow, you're right. It is. It's okay if you win. Because you are still a fucking crazy person.
And they sold it though. Like the psychology of this match, the storytelling.
It was amazing. The storytelling was on point
good.
Basically all night, except for that fucking AJ Styles Jericho match.
Well, the story there is that AJ Styles sucks and Jericho was mad at him, which was the story of the match.
You know what? You're right. And then Jericho won because AJ Styles sucks. My God, the storytelling in every match on this card was completely on point. But, like, the storytelling was on point in basically every match on this card. And good? Well, no, there's another match coming up that the storytelling was a little wonky on, but we'll get there. You're right. They told a really good story. The announcers sold it really well. By God, I love Jerry Lawler, don't get me wrong. And Byron Saxton isn't the best announcer I've ever had, but taking Jerry out of that equation and putting in Byron Saxton, who can be a much more by-the-numbers face caller, allows Michael Cole to just do play-by-play, and JBL to really turn the heat up on heel. And it's such a better dynamic. I know the internet hates Byron Saxton. I don't really understand why. He's not special, but he's perfectly serviceable. It's a lot better dynamic. They sold the psychology of this match really well. They talked a lot about Shane's strategy going into this match was to win The Undertaker, because in the last few years it's been really obvious that shortly into the match The Undertaker gets tired because The Undertaker's a billion.
I fucking love that was the strategy. That Shane was like,
he's old.
I'm gonna gas him out.
I'm gonna blow his ass out. I'm gonna blow him up. It'll be fun. But, that's a good strategy. Solid strategy based in kayfabe on things that happen during matches that The Undertaker's in. Really solid. They sold it really well. They talked about, is The Undertaker tired? He seems like he might be winded. Blah, blah, blah. Can Shane withstand The Undertaker? Very similar to, Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose. Just sort of the other side of that coin.
Yeah.
Instead of, hoping to withstand Brock Lesnar enough to do enough damage to bring him down, it's Shane hoping to absorb enough damage that The Undertaker rope-a-dope him, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was a really solid match, and then we get to the moment
that you knew was coming. Well, actually, the first moment.
Go ahead.
Well, that was actually, I think, was the turning point for you, was the coast to coast.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, that was another moment.
But the coast to coast is where Shane bought my ticket.
Because he goes out of the ring, and at this point, they're both stumbling around the ring like they're drunk. Goes outside the ring, picks up a fucking trash can, and spends a solid minute putting it on Taker.
Getting it real wedged in there so it doesn't fly away and be sad.
Taker keeps trying to hold it, and Shane's like, no, I'll get it in there.
No, don't hold it. That'll look dumb.
Don't ruin it.
And he did. He eventually got it in there. But when he grabbed the trash can, I remember I audibly went, fucking no, you're not. And then he went. I thought he was going to go for the stairs, because they had the bottom steps in the ring, and he had done a move from the bottom steps earlier. I thought he was going to do, the old man version of it. And then he was he looked at the steps, and then shook his head, and walked towards the other fucking turnbuckle, and I went, there's no fucking way you land a Van Terminator. That is not happening.
This whole match was Shane McMahon shaking his head, going, fuck me.
And then...
I'll do it.
Fuck me, I'll fight it. The Undertaker. And then he clears it solid. One of the, a fucking perfect fucking coast to coast. It was ridiculous. He's 45. That's a hard move to hit at 25.
He clears it solid. Not only that, but he also manages to kick the trash can directly into the Undertaker's nads.
Right in the penis.
It doesn't crumple against his chest. It's not like he landed full flush, full force. But he hits the trash can in
with a really solid
with a heel kick, yeah. And it goes straight into his dad's, bends down into the crotch, and Taker's like, oh! There were a few potatoes after that. There is some revenge after that.
You hit me in the balls, you asshole! Oh.
Oh man, it was good. And then the big one, the Foley spot.
I genuinely didn't think they were going to do this.
Because the last Hell in a Cell, I don't think anybody even got on top of the cell. It was just okay.
Just a big cage match. And because it's a fucking really dangerous spot.
Oh, it is so dangerous.
Especially because the cell's bigger now.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Mankind got thrown off the cell, it wasn't actually 20 feet tall.
No, it wasn't.
It was about 15. Now it is actually 20 plus feet. That 5 feet doesn't sound like a lot. That makes a huge amount of difference.
As someone who's afraid of heights, yes, it does.
That 5 feet makes a mathematical, like a 20% increase in force. I didn't think they were going to do it.
No.
And then there comes a spot where he when he started cutting the bolts to get them out of the ring, I was like, that's the first moment. You go, no. Then they get out of the ring and they're fighting in the ring. It's like, okay, maybe they're just fighting in ringside. And then he knocks Undertaker down. He's down on the floor and then he looks up and the whole audience explodes at Shane McMahon looking upwards. Shane McMahon looking upwards got the biggest pop up to that point in the night. And then he fucking does it, the psycho! He climbs the fucking cell and, Undertaker's laid out on the table. And he climbs the cell, and when he gets up to the cell, he lays down for a minute and stares down, this is the worst idea. And then he's like, there's no other way. And then he stands up, and he stares down for 10 more seconds, I'm gonna die. Is my life insurance up to date? Did I leave the stove on?
I sure hope my kids at ringside didn't just pay to watch me die.
I'm a dead person. But there's no other way! And then he fucking crosses himself. And the whole audience, they're not even cheering. They just drop into silence in fucking respect and remembrance for Shane McMahon.
The soon-to-be former son of Vince McMahon.
And then he doesn't jump, he falls because, look, stepping into that great unknown is hard enough. Jumping would have been too hard to ask of any man.
He kind of leans.
Yeah.
Sort of dives.
Yeah, he goes for a dive, and, by the time he hits the ground, he has a fucking perfect, picturesque elbow drop going. The problem is the literal second he leaves the cage, the literal second he's airborne, Undertaker rolls off and runs away like he's on fire.
They show a camera angle where you can see Taker's face as he moves, and that dude, his expression is, fuck this.
No way.
No.
So Shane just hits the breakaway table, and you know what? It's a breakaway table, but there's not a lot of give on the floor.
It was beautiful, man. He's oh god, they played 9 times.
I'm genuinely surprised he didn't break anything.
Oh, I haven't heard.
He's on Raw.
Oh yeah,
he was on Raw. He was stumbling around like he could barely walk, as someone said on the internet, looking like he just dropped the soap.
He did. He was the soap.
Yeah. But then, Undertaker, that happens, and Undertaker, it cuts to, Shane's dead, it pans up to the Undertaker, and Undertaker's got this look on his face. It's the same look you see in every other person who fights the Undertaker's face when the Undertaker is full of ghosts.
Yeah. No, because he gets him back in the ring and tries to pin him, and Shane kicks out.
Right, that's
when he does the full of ghosts.
No, that's a different look. He has this look on his face of sheer, unmitigated terror, this person's crazy. This is a psycho human. He tried to murder me just now. In real life, he tried to kill me. And then he is suddenly, visibly not tired. The Shane's plan was always doomed to failure. He, walks over, hops Shane up onto his shoulders, and walks him back into the ring. I think it was a choke slam he delivered?
He did something.
It was a choke slam or something. It wasn't the tombstone. That's very important. I don't think it was. No, it was the tombstone. Because he does the tombstone, and, I forget what move. I thought it was the tombstone, and he did that thing where he sticks out his tongue and Shane kicks out anyway.
Specifics are not necessarily important. I mean,
for this thing, he does a big move. He does either the choke slam or the tombstone. I can't remember which, honestly, because what happens next is so fucking ridiculous. Shane kicks out, and Taker has this look on his face oh, for fuck's sake!
and Shane gets his ass up on the stairs and is sitting there, and he's done 1,000,000 times during this match. Taker eggs him on, and he's like, "What do you got now, big man?" He does the come
get some hands, which Shane has done 5 or 6 times during the match. It's very much part of the story. And then Shane's response is to do them back.
Taker walks up, pets his cheek like, oh, sweet baby, and finally puts him to bed.
Not tonight, sweetheart. And then he tombstones him, and it's done. It's over.
Man, it was...
Oh...
Like, I was disappointed on a storyline front because the Authority gimmick is so fucking old. But, what a good match.
Like, yeah, solid match, solid win. I did not expect Undertaker to win. I'm very happy that he did. Like, I don't care what the internet says. That was the right call. Sure. Especially given that tonight on Raw, Vince just gave Shane the show anyway. And his reasoning was, I hate post-WrestleMania crowds. They're full of dickweeds and assholes. You deal with it. And then he fucking left and gave Shane the show.
So, yeah, that was fun. Then we moved on to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which I didn't know was taking place.
This is the match I forgot. They had announced it beforehand.
Oh, had they?
Apparently. I didn't know this was happening.
This is also your piss break.
Yeah, this is clearly your piss break match. This match happened.
Yeah, DDP showed up. That was cool.
Yeah, DDP showed up.
DDP continuing to prove that one doctor wrong.
As you said, didn't you mention during the show that you hope like after each time he wrestles,
yeah, I hope
he like calls that doctor up.
Hey, I don't know if you saw WrestleMania, but I was there. Bang! And then just hangs up, and that doctor's like, "Yep, I deserve that. Every time I deserve that."
Oh.
Fucking Shaq showed up, and he and the Big Show had a little ballet dance.
He and the Big Show fought. We're both really tall guys. Let's fight because we're really tall. Big Shaq is one of the few people on the planet Earth that the Big Show has to look up to look into the eyes of, so that was impressive.
Well, that was nice. I also thought it was super fucking funny because we're watching, and I'm like, is that Tatanka? And you're like, I don't know, maybe it is, because it's been a while since we've seen him. He's put on some weight.
And then like, no, it's Tatanka. That's surprising.
Because his name was written on his ass or something.
And then like, fucking 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later.
Michael Cole's like, is that Tatanka?
And the champion went, holy shit, it's Tatanka!
I love that they didn't notice as much as we didn't notice.
Yeah, like, fucking Tatanka was there. It was a battle royal. It was nothing special.
And there wasn't a Kofi, so nobody did a ridiculous spot.
Kofi was busy. But, like, it was fun. Shaq and Big Show did their big guy thing. They cleared the ring, but, like, everyone under the bottom rope. And they had a big guy fight. And then, like, two people tried to challenge them on their own. And they were thrown out, one each. And then they had a big guy fight. Just as they were, like, both goozling each other, all the other guys came in and threw them both out. Like, our moment is now! Attack! Attack!
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was a fun match. It was just fun. It was a good time.
They had the social outcasts, like, all four of them were still in the ring at the end, and there were, like, 2-3 other guys?
There was, like, 4 other guys.
Oh, were there? Okay. And they're, like, doing this little victory train around the ring.
It's called the Bow Train.
Oh, the Bow Train?
Because Bo Dallas does it.
Right.
They were doing the little Bo Dallas victory run, and, like, they were clearly, they'd been actually sort of kicking ass and, like, lurking together and cleaning up. And everyone was down, it was just them, and then they did a little boat train for a second, and then the boat train all skidded to a sudden halt when Kane was there. Kane had gotten up and was very unamused.
They decided to go the other way, and then someone else was
Baron Corbin was there.
And then they got eliminated, and then somebody eliminated the other guy.
Like, a bunch of people got eliminated. It was down to just Kane. Like, Kane eliminated the last guy before Kane. I forget who it was. And then Baron Corbin runs up from behind and eliminates Kane. Baron Corbin won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. What? Yeah. Good for Baron Corbin, but that's unexpected.
It's probably about time you move up to the main roster.
Yeah, like it seems...
Get demoted to the main roster.
There you go. More accurate.
Although, honestly, he seems like a main roster talent as opposed to an NXT talent. I don't think he's quite good enough to hang.
Oh, maybe you should get demoted to the main roster, big guy.
But it was fun. And then like the weirdest part of the night occurs.
Like, yeah, the absolute strangest, most time-sinky part of the night.
And remember, grown men dressed as Super Saiyans came out of a box of cereal earlier.
And this is weirder.
First the Dallas cheerleaders come out, and the crowd kind of boos them in Dallas. I don't follow foot sport, but I didn't know that they were mad at the cheerleaders.
Secret guess, the only people who shell out for WrestleMania tickets are are diehards. They're internet fans. They're mad because these aren't wrestlers.
Maybe, sure, that makes sense. If they were the Nitro Girls, everyone would have been happy, I guess.
Yeah.
And then The Rock shows up, which we've been wondering this whole time, like he was supposed to have hosted WrestleMania. Kelsey Grammer in the opening thing was like, and through it all, the most electrifying personality.
No, a great one shall rise again.
Well, he said something else about how through it all, The Rock is going to be there, basically, is what it boiled down to. They showed a picture of The Rock, and, and it was like built up this whole time. Rock is going to be hosting WrestleMania.
Again, I've not heard that, and I did not get that from the Kelsey Grammer thing.
Maybe it's because I saw all the hype for it on the Twitters and whatnot. But he finally shows up, and
then he leaves. He goes, wait, I've got something. Leaves, comes back out with what I thought at first was a t-shirt cannon or something.
It turned out to be a flamethrower.
Why does The Rock have a fucking flamethrower? No, seriously, why does The Rock have a fucking flamethrower? What the fuck?
Like, he's not the most fiery guy in sports entertainment.
But, he can't bring out a Tesla cannon, I guess.
I don't see why not.
Because lightning would kill people, and it doesn't, there's no short-range lightning emitter.
I suppose. Maybe if he was, between two Tesla cannons, like that guy you see on America's Got Talent.
That would be fucking badass!
Fucking tight, dude. Anyhow, he sets his own name on fire.
Yeah.
Literally.
This
is a fucking surrealist dream about wrestling.
This is what people who don't watch wrestling must think wrestling entrances look like. The Rock, he comes out with a flamethrower and lights his own name on fire with the flamethrower. Fucking no, he doesn't. Nobody does that. That's a crazy person thing to do.
That's like the kind of shit you get from people who judge anime based on anime openings.
Yes. This is the anime opening. Why does The Rock have a flamethrower? What's going on? And then he uses the flamethrower some. In addition to lighting his own name on fire, he just sort of uses it.
Shoots in the air.
Throws the flame.
He's like, yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? Thanks, buddy.
That, I had a thing that shot fire. You did. That was cool.
He comes out, he cuts his little promo, talks about breaking the WWE attendance record, and which they did. Which, I mean, you could tell it wasn't like the first time where they quote unquote set the attendance record. This place was fucking packed. This place was fucking deep.
It was so deep, actually, fun fact, many people didn't get in before the first two matches were over. The crowds were so huge, and the crowd was so impossible to wrangle how big it was, they couldn't get them all in.
Wow.
Total Biscuit had tickets, didn't get in until partway through, I think, the third match on the card.
Well, I'm sure he didn't care.
Oh, no, he was very mad.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, it was definitely, I definitely believe they're ridiculous 101,000 something 73.
So yeah, Rock does that, and then Bray Wyatt comes out
to murder The Rock.
To talk about how he wants to eviscerate The Rock.
And then The Rock reveals why he had a flamethrower, because he's here to roast everyone. And he proceeds to cut a vicious, fucking gimmick-destroying promo on the entire Wyatt family. To use a bit of e-fitting insider terminology, he full-on Grant Rice's the Wyatt family. It's little harsh there, Dwayne.
It's e-fitting terminology if you've gone to specific e-fits. But, I don't, it's The Rock. I mean, if you're going to be involved in a program with The Rock, he's going to do this to you.
Yeah, it's his thing.
That's how the guy works.
Yeah.
But, he has a quote-unquote match with,
Hey, he came out, he had ring gear on.
Yeah, he's stripped down and had his ring gear secretly on and elbow pads in his penis place. And he put those on. And then, he beats Rowan in 6 seconds. And...
to set another record, as it were.
And then the Wyatt family's like, fine, fuck it, 3-on-1, bitch.
I don't know what you thought was gonna happen next. And then fucking Flintstone shows up, yabba-doo.
Yeah, John Cena comes out, and he helps The Rock fight them.
Which, side note, why did they wait for John Cena to get in the ring to fight The Rock? I would, if John Cena is here, start fighting The Rock now. That way The Rock has already fought.
And then leave.
And
don't fight John Cena, he's superhuman.
Yeah, he's clearly the last son of Krypton has shown up. You're fighting Batman, and now Superman's here. Quick, beat up Batman, or leave before Superman shows up all the way, because he'll beat you up.
You will win the beat-up contest.
And then John Cena wins, lol. They clear the ring. They have a thing where hey, it's The Rock and John Cena. Remember how that was a thing? Alright, I'm gonna raise your hand, you raise my hand, great. And now let's leave.
And that was it. That was a thing that happened. That was the thing that happened.
No, okay, good. Yeah, that happened. What a great time sink of fucking 20 minutes.
I mean, yeah, obviously they were trying to give an emotional reset.
Yeah, because before that, The Rock fucking cut a really overly long promo about beating the attendance record.
Yeah.
Way too long for that particular milestone. Talking about, people going home and fucking, and it was, he really fucking, he spooled it out.
90s rock promo,
yeah. But
he got out there for half an hour and talked about shit.
Just
whipped out his guitar, had some puppets.
Dude, if that fucker had whipped out the guitar, I'd be totally sold.
Alright, last match of the night.
And probably one of the least, it's not AJ versus Jericho, but not, a lackluster match.
It was better than the Battle Royal, too.
It was better than Battle Royal. It was very low key.
I'd say it's probably better than the ladder match.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd say
equal to or better than.
I'd say it was a perfectly serviceable Raw match. It was very low key, very not by the numbers, but it was a technically very well done.
Very quiet.
There's two things I want to highlight here about the match itself. We're gonna go back and talk about the entrance.
I tell you what, my friend, you say your piece, and I'll come in after. I'll clean up.
Okay. There's a couple things I want to highlight about the match itself. The storytelling of the match, leading from the storytelling of Triple H's entrance, was really, really solid. They told a very specific, very well done story, which makes sense, because for all the criticism Paul Levesque gets, deserve it or not, I mean that in both ways, some of it's deserved, some of it's not, and some of it's debatable, he could have a good wrestling match with a broom. And Roman Reigns is a quality fucking talent, internet. Go fuck yourself. And they just told their story. They didn't fucking kowtow to their fucking childish, annoying fans. They didn't give the internet what the internet demanded. They just told their fucking story. And they let the fans react how the fans wanted to react to the story they were going to tell. Which is all we've been asking them to do.
Pretty much.
It wasn't my favorite match ever, but I love it for what it was. I love it for the finish they went with, and for a couple of the really fun spots that happened during the match. But my favorite part wasn't the match. My favorite part was the fucking best Triple H entrance of all time. It was a fucking tour de force. It was a little, miniature art house film. It was beautiful. They did this thing of a bunch of scary gentlemen from Buffy the Vampire Slayer with their mouths clamped shut, showing the sea of mindless, the same replaceable cogs, and then Stephanie McMahon dressed as
it's Girl Triple H.
Yeah, Girl Triple H.
Girl Dominatrix Triple H.
Yes, dressed as I don't know, my high school crush.
Queen Sindel with a skull mask.
Yes, comes and cuts one of the best promos I've heard ever.
It was no cream of the crop, but
but just this absolute douchebag internet fans who are gonna try and ruin this match by absolutely just shitting on the story we're trying to tell. We're the bad guys. We're the bad guys here. You're supposed to boo us, dummies.
It was really transparent. I loved it.
Oh, and it was glorious in its transparency.
Yeah.
Talking about you aren't fit to lick the boots of Triple H. He is, the all-conquering God. You are nothing. We own you. Literal words, by the way. You are nothing. We own you. And then Triple H comes out with a forest of skull druids. And the image of Triple H walking to the ring with Steph walking behind him with the full-on 90s Stephanie McMahon, this is pure evil for no reason, and for some reason I'm turned on by that look on her face. It was a perfect entrance. It was fucking phenomenal. And it does so much to sell Triple H's gimmick. Roman Reigns' entrance is okay.
I think Trips has had better entrances.
I disagree.
I think that promo was amazing.
I count that as part of the entrance.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were enough weird things with the entrance itself that I'm not 100% sold on it. Like, and I'm nitpicking. I'm going to just say that right up front because I am nitpicking. It was a cool entrance. It was a fucking cool entrance. If he had those guys in the video, which were clearly masks.
Why didn't he have those guys?
Why didn't he have those guys?
That's fair. It would have been cooler if it was those guys.
Like, they were just skulls, and they were cool skull masks, but it was just like, there was this dissonance. All of them were holding the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
That was a cool touch.
Yeah.
Just like, you're replaceable, anybody could hold this title and they'd be mine. That was nice.
Yeah.
Triple H's outfit was, I mean, almost non-existent.
Which I actually sort of liked, because last year, they went too far.
Well, last year was stupid. I'm talking about the year before that and the year before that. Those outfits were fucking amazing.
That's true. I would have enjoyed, like, the male version of
what Steph was wearing.
I would have liked that, especially with the skull faceplate.
Yeah.
Because I always thought Triple H's skull faceplate shit was really cool.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked that he was just, like, it was time for fight now.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I just, like, I think it worked with the psychology of the match. I just don't think it was the best Triple H entrance.
I'd have to watch them all again. I might go do that.
I wouldn't fucking blame you. Like, and he didn't have a big chair, and like
Triple H's entrance, with the exception of the Terminator one, for the last 10 goddamn years straight.
Well, and if they hadn't been in the middle of the day, if it hadn't been a sunny afternoon, that entrance would have looked cool.
I don't know.
They would have made that entrance look cool with dark lights and all the flashing. Doesn't matter what kind of dumbass robot he looked like. There would be the fucking giant laser Terminator shit going on. He'd be like, oh shit, that's scary. But here it's just like, oh shit, that is fake.
That is doppelgang. But I'd have to go watch the other Triple H entrances again. But by God, that thing blew me out of my seat. That was a good entrance.
And Roman Reigns came out.
He did a cool thing.
Yeah, it was a cool thing where he punched the stage and a thing
and
happened.
He punched the stage and there was a whip, a ripple of destruction out from where his fist hit on the video, which is, I mean, that's cool. That's that's a very specific mark he has to hit. And then when it got to the outside of the star, pyros. Would have been better. I like the ripple effect. Don't get me wrong. You want to use your big Titantron on the floor. Very cool spot. Very cool thing. Punches the ground, pyros immediately. And then, you cut back from the pyros and we see the destruction that has caused. Better.
Or, like I said, fucking chariot being pulled by a literal giant.
And a cool coat.
And a cool coat. Fucking add a cool coat and this entrance would have been a hell of a lot better. But he didn't have a cool coat. He had fucking...
Side note, I am tired of that fucking vest. I liked his old vest. The literal, tactical vest. It's the big puffy, Roman Reigns symbol on the front that makes him look stupid.
But marketable.
You
have to know that he's property of Seth Rollins. Realize, Roman Reigns lies. That's what I have to say about that.
That'll be a great swerve.
No, but seriously, if you look at the symbol on his chest, I noticed this one night. This little Roman Reigns logo, it looks like SR. Because it's backwards R with the nail in the middle. It looks like S and then R.
It looks like property of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's just going to be this great swerve at some point when Seth comes back. But whatever. Please, talk about the match because you have so much more to say than I do.
The match was good. Solid. Well built. Low key. A little forgettable, to be honest. There were some good spots. Obviously, these two guys are talented. They're going to have some good spots. The fans... I was mad at the time. I'm not gonna make any bones about that. I was very salty at the internet fans, the people who shell out the tickets for WrestleMania. And you know what? There's that counter argument. Well, they bought the ticket. Shouldn't they be allowed to say whatever they want? No, fuck you. People are watching this. Way more people than you being there. If it's a little indie show where the only people who are ever gonna see this are you guys, and you all want to shit on the show and you want to have a good time. I mean, that's still a dick move because you're ruining. The wrestlers are trying to put on a show for you, dude. It's kind of like going to the theater and eating loud chips. You're kind of fucking everyone's steez up. But At WrestleMania, at big WWE shows, dude, you're part of the atmosphere. You shitting on the atmosphere just makes it shitty for everyone. You're being an asshole. Quit it. It's fine when you're in the minority because it's even fine when you're. John Cena's reactions have begun to wear on me also. But I get it. You don't like it. Fine. You don't like it? Don't buy the fucking ticket. Don't go to the show. Don't show up just to shit on it. You know what I do when I don't like the WWE's programming? I stop watching. I cancel my network subscription and I don't give them money. If you boo, but still buy the ticket, not only are they not going to stop because you're still buying the ticket, but you're just making things shitty for everyone else who is having a good time. You're going and ruining someone else's good time for no reason because they're not going to listen to you if you're still buying the fucking tickets, dummy. But I have decided that I am not mad about this now because they're clearly not listening to you. Boo all you want, throw all the childish temper tantrums you want. Roman Reigns wins, lol. The Roman Empire is here. It's here to stay. Eat a dick. You get to deal with it. Ha ha. Or leave. You don't like it? Doors that way. Dickbag. I'm done.
Okay. I didn't want to ask because I couldn't think of a way to ask that without sounding like an asshole. I don't have a different opinion. Just like a way toned down one. I'm not a huge Roman Reigns fan. I don't dislike him.
He's not perfect. His mic work definitely needs work.
God, yeah. But I like Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn's mic work was better than Roman Reigns, but still, it's a lot of work.
Debatable. I think Roman Reigns would be better if they let him be himself. He's very clearly not being himself. Yeah. And the best wrestling gimmicks, every successful wrestler of all time says the same thing. The best wrestling gimmicks are you, turned up. The best wrestling gimmicks are your personality, with either the best or worst parts of it thrown up on a large scale. Be a ham about parts of your personality. That's the best way to do wrestling. Basically, every wrestler agrees on that.
Yep.
Let him do that, and I think his mic work could better. He's clearly not the guy you're trying to get him to be.
And I honestly think, ironically, part of the problem is Roman Reigns, the dude, is a little bit of a dick.
Yes, I think so too. If in my perfect world, do you know what he would have done post-WrestleMania? My absolute post this exact finish.
I'm just creating gay porn in my head, so please give me your actual answer.
Oh, Roman Reigns is not my man crush.
No, I know. I wasn't. That wasn't the joke I was going for. Please carry on.
But he would have, because at the end of the match, he had this fucking smirk on his face. This really shit-eating smirk where you could tell it was real. Boo all you want, I win. I think, right as they were cutting out, I saw him mouth that's right, I win, deal with it. Good. Yes, if they're gonna boo you, don't change your character. Don't change Roman's character. Don't have him be a coward. Don't have him cheat. Have him be the exact same guy. But have him acknowledge and own the boos. Not occasionally reference them. Not I'll overcome this too. No. Just be, I'm better than your favorite darlings. I'm better than them. Deal with it. You don't like me, that's fine. I'm still better than them. And have him, unlike all the other people who say that, have him back it up. My next 3 months of Roman Reigns' gimmick, or however long it takes for a specific thing to happen. Very simple. Next month at Payback, or whatever, you have him beat Brock Lesnar. Clean. Just the exact same match he did last year at WrestleMania, but it ends with Roman Reigns going over. People will blow the roof off with boos. Good. That's what you go for. Again, don't change Roman's gimmick. Just have him, Brock Lesnar beats the shit out of him for 40 minutes or whatever. Roman laughs and kills him. Done. Next pay-per-view after that, I think it's SummerSlam. Beat John Cena. Clean. Same exact thing. He just is too good. He's too tough. He's too much of a warrior king. Hopefully at that point, because that's about when I think it's done. If not, you can throw him a couple other people to eat before this happens. You wait until Seth Rollins is better. You bring Seth Rollins back from injury like Triple H in the mid-2000s. You sell him coming back from injury. You sell how tough he is, how much grit and determination there is involved. You have him come back for the championship he never lost, beat Roman Reigns, either completely clean or by outsmarting him, one of the two, doesn't matter which. Roman Reigns is, without changing his gimmick at all, allowing him to be, a more honest version of himself, and allowing him to still keep his demographic, because he is popular with a certain demographic. Trust me, I went looking, and my God, he's super popular with certain people. Allows him to keep his demographic, because he didn't change who he was as a person. And for everyone else, all the people who love indie wrestlers, which Seth Rollins is, all the people who are just tired of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins is in him, and all the people who love a good comeback story, Seth Rollins is now Jesus. Seth Rollins is their savior. He saved them from Roman Reigns. I guarantee his stock shoots through the roof overnight. You've remade a new main event talent as a big face. And he can sell it. Like, I've been trying to save you people from Roman Reigns all along. I tried to stop him from winning at WrestleMania. I knew he was going to beat Brock Lesnar. That's who Roman Reigns is. It's easy. It's easy fucking booking. If you go for it, you will make two huge next generation stars who can go to have a fucking Orton Cena-esque feud for the next 10 years.
Please don't.
A good one.
Please not, though.
There can be more than just those two, is the thing.
Okay.
Orton Cena would have been fine if it wasn't just them.
I never want to see that match again.
Me neither.
I love Randy Orton, and presently I'm not mad at John Cena. Give it time. But I never want to see that match again.
But that's it's a good feud because it lasts 10 years. There's a lot of story there. It would have been fine if there were other things happening besides those two. I genuinely think that would be some of the best booking. Look, armchair booker stuff aside, haha, you don't know what the real challenges are, you've never booked a wrestling federation. Go fuck yourself, I know good storytelling.
It mostly involves, money and contracts.
Yeah. I know good storytelling, and if the people are there and the money is there, the only one who's going to bitch about that, I imagine, would be Brock Lesnar and John Cena, and ultimately, fuck them. They're part-time or on their way out talent. Build younger stars. Build new stars. It doesn't have to be Seth Rollins. It can be Cesaro or Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Cesaro's already back.
Which is great. It can be any of those guys. I think Seth Rollins is the best storyline-wise.
And the most likely.
But that's what I want them to do. They're not going to do that. But that's what I want.
All I was going to say is that the match felt like a traditional Japanese match that never got to Act 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I would say.
There's a kind of style of Japanese building that I saw a lot with Kawada and Misawa that was pretty slow start. You get a little spot here and there, sort of a warm-up sort of thing. Around the middle, people trade spots back and forth, but there's still plenty of space in between. Nobody's going insane. Act 3 of the match is just
bonkers.
Fucking explosion. It's an explosion of madness and gore. And
a lot of that's down to Japanese announcing too.
Oh God, yeah. Well, and we don't really view that sort of announcing anymore, not since the fucking Attitude Era died. But it's very similar to the match that Sami Zayn had with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, that was a very Japanese
very Japanese build to that match. And but it's like they did the second part and then it was over.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Good God, I don't want that match to have gone on any longer. By that point in the pay-per-view, I was so tired of watching wrestling. And I already am non-invested in this feud. I was never a big Triple H guy.
I was. Fun fact.
And I don't care about Roman Reigns. I don't hate him. I just don't care about him.
I like him more than I otherwise would because of how much the internet hates him at this point.
Which, that's in your nature.
Yeah, I mean, you're suffering. I just enjoy it at this point. I'm becoming more of a Roman Reigns guy in reaction to you guys shitting on him so in excess of what he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted it to be over. I didn't want to watch that match. I didn't want to watch I didn't care. And I don't care I'm glad Triple H didn't win, because I don't think it's good for the booker to have the title unless you're doing something really cool with it. But the Authority angle is so fucking stale that you can't do anything cool with it. Because the Authority has had the title. It didn't need to be Triple H. Seth Rollins had it. So the Authority had the title. We've done this. This is stupid. I suppose in that sense I wanted Roman to win, but it had nothing to do with, my horse in the race. And even if he didn't win, oh well. I mean,
by the end, Triple H's storytelling in that match was so good. I would have been a little mad if Roman Reigns winning, rather Triple H winning, because it would be them capitulating. But and I've grown tired of the WWE being spineless about their storytelling. Look, tell your story. If I don't like it, I'll leave.
Yeah.
But in the end, I don't think I'd have been that mad. Because, by God, it was good. That moment when the recently dead Stephanie McMahon, because she ate a spear from Roman Reigns, which, by the way, she drank that shit like a champ.
Yeah, she's fucking jacked, dude.
Yeah, she's actually a really good wrestler. Remember that match she had a couple pay-per-views?
Oh, yeah, I do.
But, like the king was down. The conqueror was clearly winning. It was... The injured queen, with her last strength, holds the king's mighty weapon aloft for him, that he may destroy his enemies. Fucking perfect.
It was a good spot.
Like, I like the storytelling of that match so much, I'm willing to forgive the actual match being mostly forgettable.
Got anything else to comment?
No, you?
I'm good.
Cool.
It was a solid show.
Yeah.
Definitely the best WrestleMania in a few years.
Now, I didn't watch Raw, but that's because I was at work. This is the closest I've come to watching Raw in several months.
I mean, like, I could almost see myself watching again, and to keep it brief, I just, for whatever reason, circumstantially, rarely care about the main event. Haven't since the Attitude Era. There's been a couple of times where I've been invested, but more often than not, no. You know what? That's wrong. I haven't since CM Punk left. That was about, like, oh, okay. And then they have filled those shoes with nobody I gave a shit about. I have a type, and if the type's not there, I don't care. And when I was younger, after the Attitude Era, I would frequently just turn the show off when the main event rolled around. I just had better shit to be doing than see whatever the people I didn't care about were up to that week.
I mean, yeah, I can totally get behind that.
But, like, as we've discussed before, nowadays, Raw, the main event
is the whole show.
Woven through the rest of the show. I watch these pay-per-views sometimes still, if the card's good, because they actually spotlight the wrestlers I like. Mm-hmm. And they actually give them the time they deserve to do stuff. It's been suggested to me that I should be watching SmackDown, but I don't want to.
But in true WrestleMania fashion, we have also made a ridiculously long show. So, which Spork has been dutifully trying to end for the last 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let him off the hook.
Hey man, I told you say your piece. I don't have much to say about this match.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hot!